Hey everyone, Mario again, coming at you with a quick little video. Now this is something unusual in that I've never actually done a video like this before. I've done videos for reviewing movies, books, but I've never actually done a vlog talking about a concert experience. Now I've uploaded footage from it, and I've already uploaded the footage from this concert, but I've never actually talked about one. Now the concert I am talking about is the one that I went to on July 1st with my friend Jeff, like always. It was at the former San Manuel Amphitheater, now the Helen Glen Amphitheater, again, in San Bernardino, right where the 15 and 215 freeways merge again, and you can actually see the freeways, or at least the 215 portion of it, from the inside of the amphitheater. Now, we got there pretty early, like around 2-ish. I mean, that might not seem early in the day, but considering the show didn't start till 5, that was early. About an hour after the parking opened. And compared to last time, this was a breeze. Last time, we took the 215 route from Jeff's house. Boy, the line to get into the parking lot was backed up all the way down the road from the parking lot, all the way to the 215 on-ramp, onto the on-ramp. This time, we got off, nobody, turned left to go down the road. There's like maybe 5-6 cars by the stop sign, but it's a stop sign, so you can see why. After that, clear sailing until we get to the parking lot. Then there's a little bit, and of course there's the usual amount of people walking through the parking lot. We hear people playing a bunch of metal music, like there was Iron Maiden and among other stuff. Maiden is to be expected, they're the headliner. It was Iron Maiden with special guest Ghost, and the two opening acts were Exodus and Camelot. Band I have heard of, but I never listened to. Now, in case anyone's wondering why I went with Exodus, is that this is the second time I've seen them, and I was a little bit more into the music this time, but let's just say, not really impressed with them. I mean, I'm not really the biggest fan of the thrash metal subgenre in general. I mean, the only ones I really like are the big four, and even them, the one I like the most is Metallica, and that's because their sound is the most melodic, and also it has some of that 70s progressive rock influence, which I'm more of a melodic progressive sound guy when it comes to my taste in rock and metal. Like I said, I'm open with other ones, just my preference. And of the big four, that's the one I like. Megadeth is probably a second, and I don't know if I'd put Anthrax or Slayer number 3. I think I'd probably put Anthrax, because unlike Slayer, I've actually seen them live, and they're a band I'd actually rather listen to live than actually listen to their music, because the CD does not really convey their energy as well. I guess you could say it's how some people feel about Kiss, is that their music's okay when you listen to it on the CD, but when you listen to them live, then you really get the sense of their music. Now, with Exodus, this time I like their sound more, but their vocalist, I just don't really care for his singing. Maybe it's his technique and it just doesn't come across to me well. And also, I could barely hear him when he was singing. When he was talking or yelling, I can understand him, but when he was singing, I could barely hear him. And I wonder if this is a sound issue they were having for the first two, because Camelot also had a SAM issue. Because Camelot also had a sound issue. With theirs was a little weird because it kept cutting in and out for their first couple songs, and you can really hear that pop when you hear an audio source go out. That's what it was. And he even apologized for it. At first I thought, does he not know how to project properly? But then when I heard the pop the first time, I'm like, oh, it's the microphone. And I got into them. I want to look up their music now because, you know, they're in that subgenre, the progressive, fantasy-based heavy metal, you know, similar to Blind Guardian and trying to think of ones off the top of my head. No, it's that subgenre that's very influenced by Dio. I guess you could kind of throw Dragon Force in there. Now, before we get talking about the main event, a couple other things I've noted I have to mention. I didn't get a shirt this time. Instead, I can grab it right here. I bought one for both me and Jeff, because I know Jeff collects these things. So, Jeff, if you're watching, once again, you're welcome. We got lanyards, and they are for the tour. If I had more money, I would have also gotten a pin, but I didn't want to spend all my money they had on me there, but I got that. If I want to get a shirt or something, I could always get it online from the store. The Ghost ones are what I really want to get, but I don't know if I'll get a shirt for them. I mean, from when I saw them last year, I got a poster up on the wall. I really wish I'd gotten a poster like this type of fabric stuff, but I could always order that online too and probably be cheaper, because if you look at the prices of some of this stuff, I mean, these things are $15 each, and that's a little bit pricey for a lanyard, but it's only like $5 more than I've seen them being sold. But the shirts and stuff, like $40. The only reason I got the one at Ozfest is because it's Ozfest and it's Sabbath's last tour. And plus, I could not resist that one. Make America metal again. Now, like last time, me and Jeff hung out by the wall for a little bit. We actually got to see how this amphitheater lines people up to put them into the pit with the wristbands. The VIP people got red wristbands, the other people got yellow. And there was one funny little incident that happened when they were going along the line to make sure they had gotten all the VIP people into the pit. Someone said, anyone else got a red wristband? And this guy, who's obviously of Native American ancestry, goes, I have red skin, does that count? That cracked me up good. And I told my coworker, who also is of Native American ancestry like me, that, and she got a smile. She's like, oh boy, that's good. It's just the way the guy said it is like that. The only thing that would have made that joke a little bit better is if Anthrax was playing, mainly because the first time I saw him at that amphitheater when they played Indians, he actually called out, like, are there any other natives in the house? And there was a group of them by me. So now onto it. Ghost, they were fun to see in the amphitheater. I mean, it's different than having seen them in a small venue like the one in Riverside that's about the same size as the House of Blues. I can't really remember the name of it, but if anyone is from Riverside, California, you should know which one I'm talking about. It's a little place that usually will show rock events. It's also where I saw NXT live last year. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head because it's not something as easy to remember as the House of Blues, but it was a little different than when I saw him there, mainly because, you know, it's outside, so that's one, and two, unlike at that thing where I was in the front, here I was in the seats. I wasn't on the grass. Jeff's ticket was on the grass, but like always, he snuck forward, but I'll talk about that later. I was in the seats in the tier, it wasn't the front seats, which hopefully next time I'll be able to snag a ticket there, but it was in the middle seats, but it was in a section more towards the front of it. So that was good. So it was a good little view. I could see him pretty well. But the distance combined with it being outdoors kind of killed the show a little bit for Ghost. I mean, you know, Papa Emeritus 3, now outed as Tobias Forge, of course. He still was a good front man. The ghouls on their instruments did pretty well. It's just that it was still light out, so that kind of kills a little bit of the mystique of some of their songs. At least it was starting to go down by the end of their sets. So the last couple songs, they had that little thing, but they're just not a band you're meant to see in the daylight or outside when it's... Now, of course, he was a good front man, and of course, in the lead up for Monstrous Clock, that was probably the best he was with the setup for the song. It was a little different than the last time. Last time he was talking about how people in certain societies look down on the menstrual cycle. This one, it was a little bit different. Kind of tied in with the holiday, which I thought was good. I actually have it on video. If you guys actually want to see it, it's in, just, you know, go into my video section. You'll be able to find it. It's probably about the middle portion of the video, if I remember right. And then we got the changeover in between them and Maiden. You know, like always, this was the longest of the changeovers from one band to another, because, you know, they got to take all the stuff that was protecting Maiden's set out. And of course, this was when the sun was starting to set, so they turned the lights above me. In between sets, I would just pop out my book, which I was reading, The Dark Tower. I'm almost done with this one, as you can see there. Actually taking it with me actually helped. Now, before I get to my thing about Maiden, there's one other thing I gotta complain about real quick, and that is, and before anyone says, I am a security guard myself, so I can complain about this without it sounding like I'm just whining. When you go to a place, you always want to look to see what is allowed and what's not allowed. Being a security guard at a courthouse, I deal with this on a daily basis. People don't look up online what they can bring, what they cannot bring. They don't check their purses and their bags, and they don't read the signs outside. And then they wonder why they get sent back outside the courthouse and why we're trying our best not to sound rude when they're being snippy. I deal with that every day. Now, here, for this one, since it's not something like Knotfest, it has its own individual website to where they can list what's allowed and what's not allowed. They sent an email a couple days prior telling everyone who's coming what is allowed and what's not allowed. One of the things they listed was the water containers. They said up to a gallon in a factory sealed container or an empty bottle. That's the thing in mind, empty bottle. Now, I brought 2 of the liter size bottles with me. I was hoping that Jeff would be able to keep his mitts off one of them, but while we were standing in line, he got to it. I probably should have taken 3 just in case I needed water in the night when I spent the night at his house, but I wasn't thinking. I had my Naruto bag with me, and you know, they're searching bags, that's fine. Now I guess they didn't think it was empty, or they thought, yeah, it's in a bag, no one will notice. So they let mine through. Since Jeff is holding his, they tell him, oh, you got to throw that away. It's like, no bottle. And I'm like, I argued the point with the guy a little bit. It's like, it said on the email, factory sealed or empty. And the guy's like, no, it doesn't. It's like, really? Really, guys? The email that you send out in mass quantities is not matching up with what you tell the guards at the front? That is Major League baby bag bullshit. At least the websites for the court system I work for, the list of contraband items on the website matches up what's posted outside and what's posted on the walkway inside. It's all matching up. That was just I could have pressed the point more and brought the email up, but I didn't want to waste time, and it was a stupid thing. Plus, I got my bottle in. If Jeff needed water while we were waiting somewhere, I could have just given him the bottle. And if he got desperate enough when we were separated, he could have bought a bottle of water himself. But that's why next time I'll probably bring 3 or 4 with me the night before, just in case I have to drink from one. Or I'll probably buy a gallon jug and bring that in with me. Factory sealed, I'm not going to say no to that. Now, on to Iron Maiden. Like always, before they start getting ready, they play Doctor Doctor, which that got everyone standing up and singing along, Doctor Doctor, please. And then they started with, of course, If Eternity Should Fail, and I love the Mayan-esque setting of their stage. I love that. I applauded that. And the set list was what I expected. The handful of songs from the new album, a bunch of classics. And it was good. If there's any complaint I have about the songs they play from the new album is that they switched out one of their songs that I hadn't listened to a lot with a song that I was looking forward to listening to live, and that was Tears of a Clown. I wanted to hear Tears of a Clown, but alas, they didn't play. The new ones that they did play, they did a good job with. I did love their Bruce's setup for Book of Souls, especially the part where he does a little joke about the fact that everyone seemed to be smoking weed since it's now legal in California, because that's a thing. I have been to many concerts in the last couple years. Like, I think I've been over to 10 concerts all total. And every single one, without fail, someone at least sneaks weed in. You go, someone's having fun. This one, a bigger smell. Like, I didn't see anyone blatantly going like, but smelling it, you could tell that it's there. It was so heavy that I actually would have been surprised if Bruce did not do a joke on it. And his joke, I'm probably gonna get his exact wording wrong, but he said, well, maybe he just came here and got a contact high from all that shit you're smoking. And then, of course, his lead into Children of the Damned, that got everyone rolling. I wish I had most of that on tape, because that was funny. Talking about how your parents probably got it onto this song, which means you would be Children of the Damned. Then, the encore, there wasn't a large gap between Iron Maiden, which is usually their ending song before they go to the encore, and the encore, because usually it's like a little bit of a gap, or at least last time there was, or maybe it seemed like it, because I could definitely tell you just from a fatigue standpoint, I had a funner experience here. Because it's easier to get through the show when you're standing in a seat and you don't have to worry about people banging up against you than when you're in the stands. Just an easier time. Now, of course, their encore was, of course, Number of the Beast. Perfect way, by the way, to begin their encore. Blood Brothers, which was the only one of the songs that had an introduction monologue talking about, you know, getting along with everyone and other stuff, which was a good one. And Wasted Years is the ending one. And of course, it's the one where we heard Adrian Smith the loudest on backing vocals, which of course makes sense. He wrote the frickin' song. It's the only thing I wish Bruce would have done is the thing he normally did, is like during the chorus is like, Adrian, and then Adrian does it. He does the so understand part. I don't know if Bruce has done that for a while, but that's one thing. But at least we got to hear Adrian's backing vocals pretty strong on that part. Of course, Bruce's vocals didn't seem as strong as last time, which is to be understand. The guy went through a cancer scare, and plus, with how he runs around, he's not going to be in the best shape breath-wise, especially since he's getting up there in age, so it was forgivable. And the music, though, was pretty good, and like it's Maiden, and especially Steve's bass solo part. That's the one thing I like. Will say I did like about the one song that they switched out for Tears of the Clown with, was hearing Steve kill it on bass. And then, of course, the Eddie cameo they did, that was during Book of Souls, and then having them mess with the guitarist, like with Yannick, Yannick running in between his legs and all that. Then having him go mess with Bruce, and then Bruce rips his heart out. Oh, that was fun. As you can tell, it was a fun concert experience, and if you happen to have a chance to see Maiden live during this tour, because I do not know how many set dates they have left during this tour. I think only a couple more on the American leg of it. But if you have an option to go see them live, do it. I'm definitely going to try to see them again the next tour they come, which will probably be either a tour to celebrate the anniversary of an album, or one that's just going to be like a classic tour. Either way, it should be a fun one.